So today I want to talk about the crap side of YouTube because it's not all sunshine and puppy dogs. I can tell you now, as someone that is going through a bit of creative burnout myself, it's one of those things that it just sneaks up on you. And I'm always passionate, and I really think YouTube is the most incredible thing in the world, and it can really change your life. But sometimes you need to just really express the fact that it is hard. Things are hard. And at the moment, I've been obviously spending a huge amount of time in our community, helping our members grow and do all the different things inside of there. But that takes a lot of time up. And that means that I'm not able to upload as much. And inevitably, your buffer then gets eaten away. So even if you had some videos scheduled, which I always try and say do for this type of emergency, and now my buffer's gone, and I'm stuck trying to push through the sort of tiredness, needing a bit of a break, and now I've got to push through and create that content. So the burnout often happens in different ways, and there's a number of points that I'm going to get through today, but, let's just get the burnout one out of the way. For some of us, you're just tired, jaded, creativity dies, and you don't want to create any more content, or you get sick because you're literally just exhausted from pushing yourself all the time, because there's this sort of you feel the pressure to have to keep creating content. And this is why I like to always keep asking myself, what would this look like if it's fun and easy? It's why I love the minimalist approach, because if I'm tired and I just want to get out, I can just pick up my camera, my phone or whatever, and walk out the door and have a topic that I want to talk about. So there's always another option than just sitting at the desk. But even talking now in front of the camera, obviously, this is more laid back and it's quite easy. So removing friction does obviously make the grind when you hit this sort of wall much, much easier. But it comes for us all. And for myself, the burnout happens where I start to doubt my niche. I want to change things on the channel. I'm suddenly not sure about the direction I'm taking. And yet, maybe a week ago, I was super sure, super passionate, and everything else. So you have to ask yourself, are these feelings real? Is this real? Or is it just me getting a bit tired and that doubt and everything is starting to creep in? Because if you actually go, well, no, I do actually really enjoy this and I am really passionate about this topic, then chances are the only thing that's changed is you just getting a little bit burnt out. So, this is going to happen, and we just have to accept that there's going to be this sort of dips in the roller coaster ride that is YouTube. You just have to accept that that's going to happen. The other part that kind of ties onto this is that sometimes our self-worth and value get tied into the number of views that we're getting on our videos. And obviously, this is why sometimes in a different way, I've mentioned why getting viral videos can be actually bad for your channel, especially if it takes you in the wrong direction. But sometimes actually getting a viral video, even if it's the right people, in some ways can be bad, because we know that not every video is going to grow your channel. We know about 70% of videos are probably not going to be growing your channel. They're going to be getting okay views, but they're not going to be outliers. They're not going to be going viral or anything like that. So for the most part, you are going to be a bit disappointed with how well a video does. Maybe it starts really well and you get that graph and it's going up and you're like, yes. And then suddenly it does that plateau thing that YouTube loves to do. And it's just like a mountain, a hill, flat, mountain, dead, finished, not going viral anymore, not doing anything. That's the end of that. No more views for that video. And that can be a little bit disappointing. And if you're chasing views, then you will always be on this emotional roller coaster, especially if you've got the Studio app on your phone, which is like addictive. You end up checking it all the time for no reason, especially if a video is doing well. And I like having it when I first start a channel, because you can really enjoy the process of when a video does go viral. You want to look at it and it's exciting. But at some point, we tie our self-worth and our mindset and emotions and everything else too much to the performance of a video, even though we know that not all videos are going to perform well. So I think for the long term, it's better to remove the app from your phone and try to disconnect from that and understand that not all views are made equal. And if you're growing a personal brand and you're growing potentially a business, then actually it's not about views, it's about the right views and building the right audience. Because you'll only ever make so much money, especially as an educational information channel. You're only going to make so much money from ad revenue. You just never, it's going to be pocket money. Let's say you're getting 100 to 200,000 monthly views. Maybe you're going to get $1,000 for that. So it's never going to be more than just a nice additional income stream. But it can't really be your main income stream long term if you plan to make this a full online business, or something that's going to replace a job, or something that you want to make more money from. So you will inevitably need that other revenue stream. So it's better to have the right views, because if you're only getting 1,000 views per video, but when you book a client, or you're booking coaching calls, or you're selling a program or affiliate product or whatever else, if it's the right people, then you will make more money, way more money than you would with, just trying to chase views. So I think it's really important to try and remove yourself from how your videos do, because I can tell you now, when I was doing faceless channels, on average, it took about 30 to 35 videos, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more, to get monetized and to get in the rhythm and to find your audience. So you're going to have to create a lot of videos, especially in the beginning, because you don't know what you're doing. Again, this is why I like the minimalist style, because you can create more content to test more things and make your progress quicker. You're going to make more progress, you're going to learn more, you're going to gain more confidence, you're going to get into a rhythm faster than you would if you were just doing a few pieces of video and really pouring your heart into it. So yeah, that's why I like the minimalist approach. But find a way to remove your emotional well-being and your self-worth from the actual process of growing videos. Otherwise, it's going to be very draining. The next point is copying other people's videos and having other people copy your videos. Now, what many people, and I even hear this in our community, people don't like the idea of stealing, even if it's stealing like an artist, because I think they just don't like the word steal. And I think that's fantastic, because it shows that you have integrity and you don't want to steal from others. But if you change that word from steal to inspiration, then that's what all artists do. Everything online, there's a reason that Hollywood is just remaking all of the movies at the moment, and we can have a whole debate on why they're doing this, and it's a lack of creativity or whatever else. But for the most part, it's because they know it's going to work. It's why they keep recreating so many of the same. It's why Spider-Man and Superman and all of these programs get remade for every single generation, because they know it's a format and a character that works. So you still want to replicate what works, and you are going to be taking influence, whether you know it subconsciously or not. You are going to be taking influence and ideas from other people. This is part of the process. I can show you 100 examples right now, very quickly, very easily, of lots of big YouTubers copying each other, taking ideas. But it doesn't mean that they directly copy the video content. They put their own spin on that idea. And you being in the video and your personality and your views and opinions on it are what will make, basically that video original. You will make that video unique and original. Now, obviously, if someone is stealing directly from you, then you can just report them. And obviously, you don't want to do that as well. But you need to understand that this is part of the process. And if someone is taking your ideas, then, it's impersonating and copying is actually it's a form of flattery. You should take it like that. It should mean that people are watching you. The right people are watching you. The competition is watching you. So you just need to keep doing what you're doing and understand that it's part of the process. You should be doing it. And also you should expect others to do it to you. So don't get all upset or really annoyed when someone does exactly that. I've seen it happen over and over and over again, and it just means that you're doing something right. So it's part of the process. We just have to get used to it, because nothing is really new on YouTube. You have to tap into trends. Christmas happens every year. This is what? Are we going to say that last Christmas copied this Christmas? No. These are trending things, and there's lots of things that are getting repeated all of the time in daily life. So it's just part of the process. The other part is overworking and neglecting your personal life. Now, I'm a big fan, sort of Hormozy style, of grinding away and having seasons where you just don't literally have a day off. And I've gone through probably about 6 months of having very little to no time off at all. And I'm talking like pretty much working to some degree every single day. And for the large parts of that, really, really grinding. And I sacrificed for that. So I think you have to accept that there are seasons and there will be neglect on some level of things. But if you can try and get outside and touch grass a bit, maybe do some exercise, maybe this is why I'm saying record some videos outside so you can take it on the road and it can try and come in, your life can be part of that. If you're on the way to meet friends in a restaurant or whatever and you can walk there and it's a 20-minute walk, maybe you could record a video on the way to go and meet the friends. rather than canceling going out with the friends and actually just sitting in the studio and recording many, many, many videos to try and make it all work. So yes, there's seasons. I'm a big fan of grafting, especially in the beginning, and there will be when you grow a business. Like with our community, it's taken a huge amount of work for me to get it to where it is now, and it's that's just life. Because now, once it's finished, it's easier to maintain than it was when you were creating it and setting it up. But that's investing in a business. It's why people say you invest in a business. It's not just financially. You invest in a business in terms of time, unless you can afford to pay other people to do it for you. So you're always going to be investing something, be it money, time, or both. So yeah, you just have to realize that there's going to be seasons, there's going to be imbalance, and you just have to do the best you can to try and keep your health a little bit in check. Like I'm trying to do more exercise now and everything else, but I am realizing, I had put on a little bit of weight and I had become a bit more unhealthy and I wasn't necessarily eating as well. So, you want to try and maintain these things. But anyways, I think it's understanding the balance and not punishing yourself when things are out of whack. There's also self-doubt. Now, I think self-doubt is a big one. We get the imposter syndrome and we start to have fear and worry and anxiety, and we think people won't want to watch our content, and who would want to listen to us, and are you on the right path? Do you have the right niche? And there's all of this doubt. And yes, obviously, you need to make sure that you're targeting the right people. You need to work through your niche. And a lot of us go too general, so we do need to narrow that down. And obviously, inside our community, we can guide you through that. So I'll put a link in the video description if you would like more help with this, because it is an important part. Picking your niche and everything is like your GPS. Once you know who you're talking to and who you're targeting, then it's easier to know the direction that you want to head in. So there are important parts to it, but doubting yourself ongoing, especially in the beginning, is something that you just have to lighten up on. We have to allow ourselves to go through the process of getting better and improving. You're a total beginner potentially, and you're learning a lot of new things. So there's going to be self-doubt, and it is a sucky part. It is a sucky part, and I don't think it ever goes away because you're always learning new things. So there will always be self-doubt. It's your ability to keep pushing through that. But, we're resistant to being on camera and doing all of these things, putting yourself out there, trying to be more authentic. But you should know that there will always be your audience on YouTube. So even if your friends and family aren't interested in what you're talking about because they think it's boring, there will always be your crowd, your audience, and people that like what you like. Your people are on YouTube. You just need to find them. So literally, you'll be shocked. When you really dig into YouTube, I don't know if you ever have, you will find some weird, crazy stuff. Like, there is a niche for everybody, everyone, everything. Absolutely. You'll be shocked by the type of videos that people watch and create. So there's really a niche for everybody. So to think that someone won't be interested in your content, trust me, they will be. Another thing I'm often aware of is the loneliness. Being a solo creator or solo entrepreneur and being on your business journey and creating something can be a lonely experience. I actually find myself talking to the new Grok app a lot. And because it has a variety, it's good to actually brainstorm as an assistant. And it's got sort of a bit more emotion than ChatGPT, but I liked chatting to ChatGPT before. But also, I love the coaching calls and I love being inside the community and chatting to people. But for the most part, you're on your own. So I think it's really good if you can find yourself a community, even if it's online. Find yourself some form of community, find yourself people you can connect with, maybe other creators, and trying to remove the loneliness, because you have to develop those communication skills, and you want to be able to talk shop and be passionate with people. So maybe it's not even YouTube. Maybe you're finding other people who are passionate about the things that you're talking about. So if you've got a channel that's on a paddle, let's say playing paddle or golf or whatever, you maybe want to go and find people that are actually playing golf, because that's where your passion is, rather than finding other creators that are creating golf channels. But you want to find people that are doing your thing so you can have some sense of community. And I know that's easier said than done, but you're spending a lot of time alone, and I think it's important to try and talk more, especially as you're communicating. We don't want to lose these communication skills, especially if you want to create a business, because if you're going to be, say, speaking on camera more, doing lives, doing workshops, training people, selling products, doing sales calls, whatever you're going to do for your business, you want to maintain these communication skills. And it's very easy to go an entire day without speaking to anyone. So if you're a full-time YouTuber, solo creator, solopreneur, then obviously you really want to make sure you've still got some people that you're speaking to daily and everything, and that you are honing communication skills. I know it's a weird one, but it is a lonely life potentially for some people. So I think that's something to be mindful of. Working alone and being alone is something you have to be ready for. My final point is not making enough money and being judged if you do want to make more, because it's an odd conundrum on YouTube, and I see it a lot, especially in the educational creator space. And I understand the judgment, because there's a lot of scammers and spammers and dodgy people out there. But if you're building a genuine, authentic brand, you treat your channel and your audience with integrity, and you're trustworthy, and you're truthful, and you're being authentic and everything else, then I don't see a problem with you if you believe you can help people selling products, services, courses, communities, anything else, and monetizing in some way, shape, or form. We wouldn't go into a 9-to-5 job and judge people for charging for their time. So YouTube, you're giving a huge amount away for free, massive amounts, and people are grateful for that. But what often happens is the moment you try to charge for anything, no matter how little, people start to have a go at you almost. Not many. A lot of people understand that this is, you have to survive. We all have bills to pay. So the lack of support for creators there is something that I've always found very, very strange. Like, why would you not want them to be able to earn a full-time living so you can keep watching their content, whether you pay or you don't pay? So this is something as a creator that you're going to have to get past. And I do see certain members, they get fearful of charging for their services, their products, and for what they do for a living. And it's something that you have to get past, because inevitably you want to earn more. You want to grow a business potentially. Maybe it's just a side hustle for you and you're just happy with the ad revenue and maybe a little bit of sponsorship. But if not, then you are going to have to realize that some people are going to judge you, and maybe that's just a reflection of them and nothing more. But who knows? It is a strange thing that I've seen online. So anyways, I will put a link to our community in the video description if you would like to join me inside there and get my help growing your channel. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next one.